Welcome back to the Maximum Cricket Podcast. I'm your host, Munter, and I'm joined, as always, by Lugsy and Jacko. This is episode number 23, gentlemen, and that could not be a more appropriate number for this podcast, as it is Michael Jordan and Shane Warne Worthy. TMC are doing... Yeah, it's a bit cool. TMC are doing a T20 World Cup preview a little differently. We are essentially counting down the 33 most valuable T20 players at this World Cup, and we are doing it by draft. Who will be the number one pick, and why will it be Finn Allen? Stick around to find out.
It's a yes bank maximum, the first of this contest. Oh, that is brilliant. It's a hero maximum. On the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
So, boys, we'll open up with snack of the week. Going to face the new nut because it was quite an important one last week. Best chocolate snack from the group was to be awarded the number one pick of the T20 draft, and it turned into the closest poll we have had currently. Unfortunately for Jacko, it was not his marble block of chocolate.
Stinks.
Yeah, it was a bit harsh, actually, I thought. Only 19% of the votes, which probably wasn't appropriate, I don't think. I think it's a good block of chocolate, personally.
Sort of a lot of recency bias at the Hazella, I feel.
Yeah, Hazella was in the lead. It actually only won by one vote in the end. I didn't realize it was that close.
Very close. Kit Kat Chunky, worldwide superstar though, isn't it?
As I mentioned, I sort of was going to demand to see those voters if Hazella got
see the list.
That seemed to be a hugely late run for Kit Kat there.
It's a lot closer than I thought. It's it kind of reminded me of like old versus new, a bit like it was like Woj versus Shams sort of thing.
I did obviously go very topical, but in saying that, it wasn't just topical, for no reason.
It's a hell of a chocolate. Bazball versus Dean Alga sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we all talked it up, didn't we? Let's be honest. It's not, I'm not mad. It's a pretty big player. Probably one of the best snacks of the league.
How's a week on the clock been though after winning, Crom?
Oh, I mean, this was hugely tactical from you, I reckon, to get picks 3 and 4. Not a bad spot at all. I've been stewing over this all week.
All right, I'll go on record. Marble is probably my favourite chocolate ever. I can confirm that, but I'm not also that gutted. I'm picking 3 and 4.
It sort of worked out pretty well. Since it's a snake draft, it's actually worked out reasonably fair.
The only best part about being number one in a snake draft, if there is a clear one and then a bit of a drop off, in a situation like this, it's not actually that beneficial to have number one. There's a few good players there, so.
This week's snack of the week, obviously, it was between slice biscuits and muffins, was it? And biscuits again, just on the sidelines.
It's interesting because I feel like bickies are also like a bit of a Kiwi staple. Like a couple of bickies and a cup of tea post dinner. I feel like sort of what everyone grows up on. So interesting they're never getting the nod.
Slice was the victor in the end this week. I've gone with just an old favourite, an old faithful, if you will. I've gone lolly cake, which I've never had a lolly cake I didn't like. I've never had a slice I didn't like, to be fair. So there you go. But what about you boys?
Yeah, I don't actually know the official name of it, but I just call it pink slice. Your pink icing, your shortbread, your raspberry jam through the middle. Just an absolute staple, and some of the best there is, I reckon, in my opinion.
Yeah, two good choices. Interesting, these are both gone couplins. Just as men with, I guess as a single man myself, I don't get that go to the cafe, have a bit of a slice and a cuppa with the missus sort of option. Is that sort of something you go to, or?
Yeah, highly. Yeah, a lot actually. There's a nice the local actually does a nice ginger slice. That goes good. I'd actually say I couldn't run into town and go to Marbeck's, but they do like this cookie. It's like a chocolate chip cookie on top. It's like a caramel in the middle, and then it's like some sort of hard bottom. That to me is probably one of the best slices of all time. But
for me, it's the sort of the mid-morning coffee run at work that your Monday, the slices there, they look good. I'll be good for the week. But by Friday, your arm's well and truly twisted and you're having your second black coffee and your second slice of the day pretty quickly.
Yeah, slice. It's actually, now that we're talking about it, it's very underrated, eh? There's some damn good slices out there.
Even just like your tan squares.
Tan squares, sensational.
Tell you what, I'm just watching this warm-up game. Coley's just one of the best runouts I've ever seen. He's just sort of like sidearm. He's like diving, and he's hit one stump.
The King's back.
King's back.
He's
Don't
looked
tell
like
me
he's got
the
a.
King's...
Tell you what, if that doesn't make him go number one, I don't know what will.
Is the King about to peak for the World Cup and prove everyone wrong? Is he?
That was ridiculous. Yeah, that's quite something. So sorry, yeah, Lugsy, what are you running?
Yeah, I've gone and it was a big toss up because there's two that we have at work at our wee dispensary. One's the brownie, which in hindsight maybe I should have gone, but I was stuck pretty traditional with the old caramel slice. Never a bad sort of a caramel slice. Some you like the thickness a bit stronger, so some you don't get too much caramel in it. Sort of roughs you a little bit, but when you get a good amount of caramel, it's pretty high quality.
Caramel's quite a staple of slices, eh?
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a bit of caramel in there.
Most times.
Probably your caramel, your tan slice, and like those are probably your big two, and your ginger slice round out the top three, don't they? If you're traditional, the powerhouses.
Yeah, the big powerhouses.
The big three.
Yeah, the India, Australia, England of the slice world. So, Lugsy, are you far away from your pick? Obviously,
No.
We'll sort of get into that draft. So I'll explain the draft for the listeners at home. Obviously, so to be clear, like the draft order, we've got Lugsy at 1, myself 2, Jacko 3. It's going to be snake draft, so the order gets flipped each round. So for the second round, it'll be Jacko 4, myself 5, Lugsy 6, etc. And we'll do this until we have a team of 11. And then the teams will go on socials for you guys to judge us mercilessly. And be as harsh as you like. Anything else we need to discuss, boys, or should we do the first pick of the 2022 T20 World Cup draft, the Lugsy 11?
Yeah, let's get Lugsy on the clock.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you've named it the Lugsy 11 because there may be a few surprises in here. I'm not quite sure where it'll go. I do listen to a couple of podcasts where they are quite heavy on the drafts and the snake drafts, and there's a few of them that do it, and I'm always open or sort of more lean towards the guys that don't always pick the best teams, but very much stay true to themselves. So you might get the odd wee shot down the line, but it might all work out.
Just planting some seeds already, eh?
Wow.
So Bracewell's going 1.
No. I'll try and sort of do my best, but I don't know where it will go down the end there. Number 1, and I did stew on this for a long time. A little bit of strategy. It was sort of a pick between a couple of players. Obviously, I think we're all sort of leaning towards opening sticks as the most sort of valuable players. Obviously, they get the chance to have the biggest impact on the game. So it pains me in some ways to do it, but
Tim Payne.
It's not Tim Payne, but it is a fellow
Lock that
Australian.
in, Munter. Tim Payne 1 in the draft.
A fellow Australian. I'm going David Warner number 1.
Wow, tell you what, that's all of the ACC turning off just there.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Cromarty, don't hate it.
It's not a bad pick. It's not Anthony Bennett. It's a very good pick, and you know what you're going to get with low-key quite a smart operator, quite destructive.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, with this captaincy decision around the corner, I think he doesn't have a point to prove by any means, but I just think he wants it back. Yeah, I think it's potentially important to him to finish his career on a real high note with a good World Cup and then maybe a couple of years of skip leading into that next one. So I'm really expecting him to have a big World Cup, as much as it may pain me to watch. And yeah, I'll lock in Warner as my number 1.
He's the kind of guy where he likes to have a chip on his shoulder. Like he still talks about this time last year people were writing him off, and it hasn't been a year later. He's still got that, and I feel like he just always not to say he's Michael Jordan or anything, but he kind of like the type to manufacture something that someone said to just go out there and prove them wrong.
Fairness, he doesn't need to manufacture much because
true.
Plenty of people love talking shit about him.
Oh, certainly is.
Yeah, if he even needs some motivation, just tune into the ACC and he'll be away laughing.
He's got to be in the conversation for the GOAT, isn't he? T20 GOAT?
Up there. His record is phenomenal.
Who are the contenders? Like him and Chris Gale? And there's...
Yeah, Rohit Sharma,
Kohli.
I was going to say Kohli must still get a mention. Still got a bit of that to turn it as well.
Colin Munro, for fan of the show, Ricky Black.
Yeah, Finn Allen.
Yeah.
Just projecting. And I was thinking about sort of trading up to get that number 1 pick just to make sure I got this guy, but I'm not going to have to, which is very good. So for me, there's sort of these premier opening batsmen, and obviously Lugsy's got one of them. This one here, as a T20 opener, he's averaging almost 50, but he's doing it at an incredibly rapid rate. I think that's about 140 strike rate. So for me, I'm going Joss Buttler.
Yeah,
bugger.
Not bad.
For me, like I won't name the names, but the difference between him and some of the other like really premier openers is probably just the strike rate he does it at. I think it's destructive, and he can, like, if he gets 60, it's generally off about 20, 30, max 40 balls. Whereas some of the other ones that get 60, it'll be off 50, and then they accelerate. If you catch my drift.
So full disclosure, that was who I was tossing up between, and I thought there was a chance he might not go, and so I thought I could potentially get him next pick.
Wow, that was a mistake. There's no way you were going to get him like 5 picks later.
Well, he wasn't going at 5. Yeah, well, I sort of had the ilk of, I think there's probably 4 big dogs here as the opening sticks, and you guys have taken 2 of them, so I'll lock in Bubba Azam quickly with this 3rd pick. I think those are probably the top 3. They probably could have gone in any order potentially.
Yeah.
I think Pakistan at this World Cup will go as he goes. So that was pretty easy at 3. Now at 4, I was hoping either Warner or Buttler would slide to me here, and I could pick up one of the Pakistan openers and either Warner or Buttler, because I am a bit afraid of double dipping in terms of teams, but I will steer that in the face, and I will still take Mohammad Rizwan at 2. With the 4th pick. That opening combo, Rizwan's record is unbelievable. To get it to where it is from where it was is a great effort, and I think that would be the strongest opening pair at this World Cup of any team, and they join up as sort of country mates on Team Latham here.
Like, would they perform as well without each other? And
exactly.
It's like chemistry and like an ultimate team on FIFA. Like it's just sort of making sure they get the most out of each other by batting together.
Yeah, 100%. And I thought if I got 2 of these 4 players that have gone, I'd be happy with my first 2 picks, and I have. So very, very happy there with the 4th pick.
I mean, there was actually no way you wouldn't get 2 of the 4. You've got 2 of the first 4 picks.
I just wasn't sure about going like double dipping, but maybe we're the number 1 podcast in Pakistan come the morning.
Myself on the clock, is it? I'll tell you what. Okay, so I'm gonna sort of zag a little bit. I'm gonna move away from the opening batters, because I think, like you said, there's a couple more I could think of that could potentially do a similar job, but I don't see them of those 4 stature. I think it's those 4. There's a weak gap, and then you've got like a whole lot of decent players. I'm going to move forward to the bowlers. And I think I was going to talk about it at the start, but once you lose Jasprit Bumrah, Jofra Archer, in terms of high-class bowling, like world-class death bowling, that sort of stuff, swing bowling at the top, it starts to dry up pretty quickly. I'm going to go with, and I think he's supposed to be fit, so I'm going to claim he's fit. I'm going to go Shaheen Afridi.
I've heard very unfit, so factor that in, listeners.
Yeah, I just think like he can bowl at like 145k. He swings it. He bowls good Yorkers. Yeah, no, he's quite something. So yeah, I'm happy with that pick.
Yeah, great pick. I think he's one of the elite fit fast bowlers at this World Cup. So yeah, nothing wrong with that pick at all.
Yeah, so lovely. That brings me on the clock with a wee double pick myself here, does it?
Yep.
So I've got a few options here. Obviously, still a lot on the board at this stage. So I think I can get a couple of options here. So I guess I'm going to go with Sky from India. I think.
Wow, that's a good pick. I thought I'd get him.
At some point, I think with 2020, being in form's hugely important. So I think the guys that can sort of come into this tournament with form and just try and ride that for 5 or 6 games are sort of going to be your most important players. So that was why I really was into Buttler. I thought the way he was hitting them against Aussie it really nearly made me my number one pick. So I think I'm going to try and just ride the guys that I think are in the best form. And, so obviously he'll bat 4 for me. I think I'm putting him down as.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Is that Surikuma Yadav you've gone there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great pick, actually.
Probably the
I thought about
form
going him at 4, to be fair.
Yeah, probably the form middle order player, I think.
Yeah.
At the moment.
And then with being able to get a bowler at this end, I'm not going to go a spinner just yet, although it's very tempting. And I think there's a good chance I potentially could have got this guy later, but I think he is the number 1 ranked 2020 bowler in the world. Wasn't a long ago he wasn't considered a T20 bowler, but I'm going to go Hazelwood.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hazelwood up top.
I like it.
I think it is important to have a few. I can't not see the big Aussie players stepping up in this World Cup. So I think it's going to be important to have a few Aussies. All the experience in the world, basically puts it where he wants to every ball, and sort of has a nice demeanour about him, which in the big World Cup games, the big semi-final finals, where you expect Aussie to be, I think he's going to be important. So I'll lock Hazelwood up.
I think that's a very good pick, to be fair. Like I said, he's definitely one of the premier fast bowlers in the world. It's going to be the tournaments in Australia. I think the hard links are going to be just as tough to hit as like the Yorker links sort of thing. So I think it's a pretty good pick. So with my third pick, I think Lugsy, you mentioned him before, but I'm going to go on him. It's actually surprising he has fallen to the the 8th overall pick when you think about it, because I think it's fair to say he's the number 1 spinner in the world, arguably the number 1 bowler in the world, and I think he's an underrated batsman. I think he's pretty nice. He could probably bat 7, but I think for my team he's probably looking at 8. I'm going Rashid Khan.
Yeah, nice. I was going to go on next pick, to be fair, so I like that a lot.
There's not a lot to say. I think having played in Aussie a bit as well gives you just. I mean, I think probably in this day and age, it's not nothing. These some continent players playing, but it's definitely not how it used to be, is it? Like these guys are a lot more experienced and confident playing in all conditions nowadays. But yeah, still his experience in Aussie, I still think, a bit of help there as well.
Yeah, love the pick. Right, so I am going to go. Bit to choose here, bit to unpack. I might lock in a finisher here because I think they are going to be valuable, and it's a real toss up. But I'm going to lock in Matthew Wade.
That's a good pick. I actually had him pretty highly up as my finisher.
Yeah, to bet at 6. He'll probably, I'll bet him at 6. I think tossing up between him and a couple other finishers, his record is just unbelievable, and as Crom's hinted, these Aussies in Aussie could be phenomenal at this World Cup if they get on a roll. So yeah, I'll go Matty Wade here, and then I will follow that with, now this could be a bit of a rogue pick, but I'm a big fan of his, and I reckon he has that little X factor, and I'm going to go Andre Norchi here.
Wow, okay.
I like it.
Pace,
So,
I like it.
I like from the Latham 11.
Yeah, just raw pace, and he does do the T20 circuit a bit now, so he does have those other skills. So bit of a risky pick there, but I'll go Norchi.
No, it is. I don't hate it. No, that's pretty good. I was pretty happy with the Matt Wade pick. I think, in terms of a finisher, he's right up there. There's actually not a lot that specialise in that. I think I've only got 3. Like some guys can do it, but in terms of actually just finishes, there's not that many. Yeah,
I think it's sort of, we've talked about it, same as finishers and the openers are your sort of premium positions. So yeah, to get both openers and a finisher here in the top 4, I'm pretty happy.
He'll take the gloves for you, will he?
We'll have a close to the media fielding session between him and Rizwan, and then I'll make a decision.
It looks probably the type that's going to get grumpier, I guess, if he doesn't, which is what you like about him as well.
Yeah. Maybe I will get him in the field, get him grumpy, and get him hitting the ball harder.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm sure this is really annoying the listeners already, but as we're doing each time, so that's 2 more picks for me now, is it?
No, it's my pick. So I essentially just get 1 pick, then one of you guys will go 2,
Yeah.
and then my pick again, one of you guys will go 2.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to a podcast that does this format every single week and dropping the ball live.
You lose track, to be fair. It's actually quite difficult.
I've nicked this in about 40 seconds with the nerves that are going on in my head here.
Yeah, there's a bit going on. I think it's easy to make some shitty picks, but I think I'm going to go. I think my pick. I'm gonna go down the all-rounders route. Actually, it's funny because I put up that story today about who's more valuable between the all-rounders, batters, and bowlers, and I would say this is the first genuine all-rounder that's got picked.
I think this is going to annoy me.
Which is interesting. And I'm going to go a guy that I think is just oozes class on and off the pitch. He's he'd be picked as a batter if he couldn't bowl, but he can also bowl up to 140k, which you just don't often see. I'm going Hardik Pandya.
Bugger.
Yeah, it's a great pick. If I had my pick again, I'd probably take him now.
If I can lock down a genuine middle order batter, probably not as good as Sky, but pretty close. That can be a genuine bowling threat. I think that's where the value of an all-rounder sort of comes to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing why we potentially don't rate all-rounders as highly is because I think, and why we rate the openers as the biggest part of the T20 is just the sheer opportunity you get as an opener. You've just got the longest time to make the most impact on the game. So, but when you can get an all-rounder like that, this far in, he was going to 100% be my next pick. Probably bowl first change for us and really hit some hard balls in the middle. So great pick. Yeah, so you've taken one off me. This is when it gets niggly because you start to scramble in your head. The pick comes and it goes. Interesting.
You got to start looking at now. You got to start looking at the 11, where it all fits, what you need.
Yeah, I mean we're only 3 picks and I need plenty, but I mean this is going to be an annoying pick for me and sort of go against my grain. And forgive me for the spelling, for the pronunciation. I can't even pronounce that. The Sri Lankan spinner.
Hasaranga.
Yeah, Hasaranga.
Very good pick.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure is why I didn't really feel good about making the pick is because I don't know a huge amount about him. I've only, just sort of done the bit over the last week of doing some research to watch some highlights and that. But I think if I can get him at this stage, that classier spinner, I have to take him.
Yeah, I think it's a very good pick actually because he can hold a stick as well.
Yeah, he'll probably be at 8.
At 8, yeah, he's a good wee 8 actually.
Do I round out my bowling or do I get another stick man? I tell you what, this might be a bit rogue in itself actually. I mean, it's a huge name, but potentially not one sort of associated with form or the T20s, and potentially I may have got him a bit later. It's getting to that time, but I'm going to take Ben Stokes.
What? Yeah, fuck. I had him labelled for my next sort of round. I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I know I know the form's not there, but you just know a big stage, big moments. He's gonna perform, isn't he?
He's gonna be asked to do a bit for us. He's gonna probably bat 6, and he's probably gonna take the bowl first change. And I think the relationship me and Baz obviously have. I'll talk to Baz and I'll sort of see how he gets the best out of Stokes, and I'll get that out of him myself.
Will it have anything to do with not ball watching? Did you see that? Did you see that last ball from that last T20 the other day?
No, I haven't.
Where he's actually smoked it down the ground, and he thought it was 4, and he started walking off. And it turns out it actually got cut off pretty comfortably from long off, and he's had to scramble through for 1 and then slipped over and almost got run out. It was good stuff.
Yeah, well, barring that, I think I think on the big stage you've got to start picking the big players, don't you? So if I can get Stokes, I think reasonably late, I'll take him.
This is where you start panicking when you're sort of caught off guard.
Yeah,
that it's your pick, and you're like, oh, shit. Looking at my list, I'm going to lock in another finisher, just in case he gets tipped up, because there's a few other options. So I'm going to go big Tim David.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
Yeah, so in terms of just pure finishing, I think it's Wade and David are up there. I think you've got this guy. I know he's averaging like 40 for Australia already, but he hits it so hard. He's so strong. He's about 6'4". There's not really a place to bowl to him, and I just think I'm going to assume, I haven't picked the rest of the side, but you're going to assume that it's going to be a pretty decent top order, and then if you just round it out with a guy that finishes it with better than most. Considering I've already got myself a genuine all rounder in Pandya. I've got Rashid Khan, who can offer a bit late doors as well. Yeah, I potentially might regret it, but I think it's going to look okay later on.
Yeah. I don't hate the pick at all. Yeah, that really does put a little bit of pressure here. I am going to go, and I'm surprised he's lasted this long. I'm going to go Trent Boult.
Nice.
In terms of, a guy that's just done it on the circuit, is just all sorts of successful. I'll lock in Boult to sort of take the new ball with Norchi at the moment. And then my next pick, I'm going to lock in James Neesham to bat at 7 and potentially give me sort of 1 or 2 overs if I need it. He's also big rig, good in the field. And I think that gives me sort of Bubba and Rizwan at the top to set up basically anything, and then I've just got Wade and Neesham to mow anything down there at 6 and 7.
That's scary.
Yeah, so sort of nothing's out of reach with those two there. So yeah, that's my 2 picks.
I'm surprised Boult actually lasted it after what we saw of him against Aussie. I think he's just sort of one of the classier bowlers in the world now, and I think having that up top is pretty important. So good pick.
Team's starting to take shape now. I think we're pick number 6 here. Got an opening better bowler. I'm going to lock in another bowler. I actually think with no Bumrah and no Archer, I think this guy's the best test bowler in the world.
You're taking this again here.
At this tournament, I'm pretty sure potentially probably should have gone earlier, I think, but he just doesn't have that big name. We've seen him recently in New Zealand. I'm going to go Harris Ralph.
Yeah, love
it. He's big, mean, fasty, 150k. He's got great slow ball, bowls great Yorkers. He's just so good at the death, and I think I'm pairing him with Shaheen Afridi. I'm not sure who's going to if Ralph will take the new ball, but he'll definitely finish the innings.
Yeah, lovely pairing. I mean, Ralph is world class.
No, yeah, he was going to be in my next 2 picks, so yeah. Very impressive what he done against New Zealand in that final. Sort of when it mattered most, and that's when you want to see it, eh? So very impressive. I'm gonna, in no particular order, I'll just lock in them both. And this isn't necessarily who I want in order, I guess, if I had my druthers, but I need to fill up a couple of spots. So I'm gonna go Conway.
Yeah, damn.
I don't want to take that. He's going to have to do the job with the gloves for me. And he's going to. So I was lacking a keeper, so I had to get someone in there. And I think Conway, again, I just think he's going to have a big World Cup for us. I really do. I think he had that. He looked poor for one game and sort of bounced back right away. I just see him as a really confident one. A leading batsman for New Zealand. I think he'll have a big World Cup, so he can open the innings with Davey Warner for me. Big call potentially here, but I'm going to go Zampa.
I
think it's a great pick.
I think
you're pinching all the spinners. That's two very good spinners there.
Yeah, I think you've got to have 2 spinners basically these days, don't you?
Yeah.
If you've got 2 goodies, I think that's pretty important in T20 cricket. And I think Zamps' record's pretty impressive for Aussie. Sort of becoming low-key one of their most important bowlers. So
yeah, he's very good.
He is very underrated. I'd say he's as good as Hasaranga.
I'd put him close to Khan, I reckon. He is, especially his ability to dominate the big boys. Like his record against Kohli is something to behold. It's actually sickening how good he is against the best players in the world.
Oh, and I think people forget how important he is for that Australian side because they they very like their second spinner's Maxwell, who's very much a part timer. So they need Zampa to bowl well. And everyone always talks about the big three bowling wise, but Zampa's really the most important bowler.
Yeah.
So back to myself. These things it comes around fast, doesn't it?
Comes around with a lot of pressure.
Very quick. Okay, I think I'm going to go top order A. Honestly, I just feel like
here we go.
I feel like class is permanent. Class is permanent. And I do think this guy has sort of won me over with his fielding very recently. No. I'm gonna go Coley.
Yeah.
And I don't know where he's gonna bat just yet, but it's definitely gonna be in that top three somewhere. But I just think he's coming. I think if India are having a good World Cup, it's on the back of Coley.
Yeah. I don't hate it at all.
I mean, we did this exercise a couple of years ago. He probably would have been one of the first chosen.
100%.
And I think he's one of those guys that, I don't know, even if his record's not great in Aussie, you get the sense he loves it over there. He's still he's going to be up for the challenge.
Yeah. No, there's just something about him. I just think like we said before, he's in the conversation for the GOAT. Probably the best white ball batter, if not player ever. Like there's probably an argument already. It's a big moment. Like I'm not sure India are going to do well, but if they do well, you just know Coley's going to have something to do with today.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, it may be just a New Zealand complex, but I don't think in tournament cricket in Australia you can underestimate the guys who are actually going to be right up for that challenge.
Yeah, he's gonna take over. He's just one of those things, as you said. He might not win. He might not get you there, but he'll win you a semi or a final. This is an interesting one because now this is a man that probably isn't coming in. Oh no, actually no, I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to go David Miller.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
He was my next day as well.
Fuck, I probably should have gone him over Coley.
Yeah, wow, that's actually huge for me, just quietly.
That's a good pick. He is very underrated.
So full disclosure, he's the last one when I said I picked just my basic 11 I want, and he was the last one on this board that hasn't been chosen from the 11 I really wanted.
Yeah, beautiful. Great from me. So now I've got Miller at 5, Wade at 6, and Neesham at 7. That's starting to round out nicely in that middle order.
Fuck, that's devastating.
Yeah. Got some class up top and power through the middle. So... And then from here, I probably need to dip into these spinners because Crom's about to play like 4 of them.
Do we need to remind him this tournament isn't in India?
Yeah.
And it's important we're boys in this day and age of T20.
If I want to grab a spinner here, I'm really tossing up between probably 2. But it's tough to not go against a guy you see a lot of. But in saying that, I probably am going to, and I'm going to go with Chahal.
Okay.
Just to get a leggy. Yeah, I just think those leggies and T20s are very, you just need one. And in terms of leggies that are left on the board, I think Chahal just sneaks it there. So I'll grab Chahal there to be a leggy for me.
I don't hate that. At all. That's a very good pick. Tough to do bad picks in this draft. There's some very good players out there too.
I'm not going to lie, Norchi wasn't a great one if I'm looking back at my team.
Well,
looking back, you probably could have got Norchi at any point.
That's the thing about picks. You might want a guy, but then you got to think, does anyone else want him? But it bit me as well because I really wanted Butler just straight, and I should have got him first. So.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a miss. But I mean, it's not like David Warner can't play.
He was going to be my second, so I'm not worried.
You've still got a good team.
Okay, so some of these middle order players are starting to disappear quite quickly. I think I was just looking at Jacko's batting order. It looks very nasty from about 5 down.
Sadly, they don't bat in T20, so we're all good here, Munter.
Yeah. Bubba and Rizwan are going to bat like 6.5 and over for 15 overs.
Yeah,
they won't get a crack. So that's
we're going to be chasing 800 here against Jacko's fucking batting lineup.
So I'm going to go a middle order player, but at my second spinner also, and this guy's very underrated in terms of a T20 player, but maybe not worldwide, but definitely in these parts of the world. I'm going to go Mo and Ali.
Yeah, it's a big play.
Yeah, I'm just going to go. I've got an off spinner to go with Rashid Khan's leg spin. I've got someone that can bat at 6 or 7. Him and Tim David can swap around. Underrated finisher, just graceful as well. I just love watching him bat. Like, he makes it look so easy. And he's a very important part of this England side.
I'm really just sort of searching for my notes to what I might do here and what I need.
Yeah, it starts to scratch around a wee bit now.
Yeah, well, I think despite some people in Australia thinking he's their third best seamer, I think I'm going to have to go Paddy Cummins here.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, to get him this late, he's a frontline bowler. Him and Hazelwood, much like Bubba and Rizwan, they're just going to be cosy together.
Yeah.
I've got them taking the new ball together, so I think that'll put them both at ease.
I like it.
Pretty happy to have them there. Basically, I've picked the Australian bowling attack, which is... I don't know if that's sitting that well with me, but...
And their top order too, almost.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's going to be a real shock when I go Finchy this pick. And
Are we doing the worst 11 after all, are we?
Yeah.
So we'll lock in Paddy Cummins. I think also just good to have a good looking bugger in the team now.
Good for the circuit.
Yeah, good for the boys. I wouldn't mind. I really need a finisher and maybe just something to strengthen up that middle order. But can I get those guys at a later date? So what's playing with me a bit here?
That's the thing, eh?
Yeah. Very interesting. This is. I'm going to probably drop Conway down to about 3, or maybe I'm going to oddly go Rohit Sharma here.
I don't think that's a bad pick.
Oh yeah,
not a bad pick at all.
A very, very. I mean, for a long time now too. Just a very consistent player.
Outstanding record.
Well, he scored more runs than anyone in T20I cricket, so that's not nothing.
Yeah, that's not nothing. In fact, that might be something. So to get him, I think reasonably late here, and him, Conway, and Warner to open up the innings. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that actually. So Cummins,
that's not bad.
Yeah, Cummins and Rohit Sharma, I'll take as my 2 here.
Okay, I'm gonna go. This is gonna boost. No, I tell you what. I'm gonna take since it's in Australia. I think Lugsy sort of got me going a little bit. No, actually, no. I'm not gonna do that. No,
do it, you puss.
Oh shit! This is where it does get interesting. I tell you what. I'm gonna go someone who I think might be the most important player for New Zealand in terms of batting. After Conway, because he's already been taken, obviously. I'm going to go Glenn Phillips.
Okay, wow. Really need him at 5.
I do think he is on the cusp of being like world class.
Yeah.
At this stage, I can see him having a big tournament. He's 360. He hits it with power. Questionable on the mic, but that's okay.
Dunedin's new favourite son.
Yeah, it's a vault. Yeah, vaults. Up the vaults. Obviously. So he'll probably bat 4 or 5. Him and Pandya.
Yeah, it's a good 4-5.
I believe they don't get on particularly well, so just I wouldn't mind the listeners knowing that it's a real strike.
That's there a yarn there? Is it just Pandya just roughing some people up?
Yeah, I've just heard. It's just something to note for the listeners.
Tell you what, it's lucky this podcast isn't very big, eh?
Imagine,
it's got no sources at all.
Yeah,
won't see an article in Crick Info. Glenn Phillips never allowed back in the IPL.
Nice pick, really, really nice pick. So I got 2 here. My last sort of double dip, and this is now in terms of a guy who could get on a heater and just be an absolute menace at this World Cup. I think he's right up there. He's been the top wicket taker, I believe, at a couple of World Cups in the past. He's playing at home as well, so I like that. I'm going the Crom method, and I'm going to take Mitchell Starc.
Yeah, I was about to take him.
I thought I could hear that thought process in your head, and I'm really glad you didn't, just quietly. But I just think in a World Cup, Stark fight up with a home crowd. Like when those Yorkers, when he gets it right at 150.
Round the wicket.
And it's swinging. Like, you've seen what he's done to Callis in the BBL. Like, he makes the best in the world look quite ordinary when it's on. So, yeah, Stark and Bolt with the new ball. Njorchi to rough you up. Chahal to, like, spin a web. Starting to take shape when you got to chase 800.
You're a pretty handy salesman, aren't you, Jacko? You're selling this team rather well.
Yeah, you got to say yourself, don't you? And, yeah, my only thing here is I probably need some power at number 3.
You're not lacking power at that 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does start late for you, eh?
I could shift them up. I could just go Miller 4, Wade 5, Neesham 6.
Especially in T20, a bit of a floating
Especially in T20.
device.
Miller might actually bat 4 instead of 5. But, yeah, I mean, it all depends on wickets. But, yeah, I think here I'm going to get Liam Livingston.
Yeah, wow. Where's he better?
He's going to bat 4.
Wow. That's a good point. To be fair.
I'm basically backing Bubba and Rizwan to get through 10 overs. And then anyone else to just come in and send it massive.
Fuck, you've got some power. Who do you think, who hits a bigger ball out of Livingston, David Miller, Neesham, or Matt Wade?
Training's going to be fun, isn't it?
Fucking range hitting will be outstanding.
Yeah. Miller will probably bat 4, to be fair, and Livingston at 5. But I just think I've got that class up the top. And if Bubba or Rizwan face 60 balls, and these guys go around him, yeah, we'll score anything. So, yeah, I'll lock in Livingston.
Fuck, I don't hate that at all. That's a good pick. It's quite good value. Because you've also got someone that can bowl. Well, he bowls leg spin, he bowls off spin. That's pretty handy. So that will be. So he'll almost be your second spinner because you've got Chahal.
Probably. Yeah. So Livingston and Neesham probably have to split 4 overs in this side currently.
Yeah, depending on what it's doing.
Yeah, which I don't hate.
No, it's not bad at all. Okay. Yeah, probably need a bowler. Unfortunately, that one's taken. I think this is good value. This man's going to take the new ball with Afridi, and then we're going to have Harris Ralph to follow. I'm going to go Kagiso Rabada.
Yeah,
don't mind that.
Which I feel like is good value, and I think he's going to be a bit of a menace in this World Cup. I don't know who took all the wickets in that warm-up game between South Africa and New Zealand, but I know that New Zealand got skittled for less than 100, and I'd be surprised if Rabada didn't take a couple.
I mean, he's basically been, very consistent in all formats for a long time now.
That series where, Warnergate happened, and I think it might have been the series before, and all he had to do was not send Steve Smith off, and he wouldn't get banned, and he just, screamed him off the wicket. There's a bit about Rabada, and it's a great pick there.
I've got a bit of fire in my bowling attack, just a bit of energy, bit of Shaheen Afridi, Harris Ralph, Rabada. They get in all three can get in your face. They can really.
There's some menace.
Lugsy, you've got 2 more picks, which will round out your 11.
Yeah, it will. And I've been trying to sort of scramble for what I want over the last few minutes, and I've basically came up with not a lot. Like a lot of players, don't get me wrong, and a lot of players I really like, and it's just sort of in my head deciding how rogue I want to go and how sort of fun I want to make this side.
Who do you have left? What positions do you need to fill?
Well, probably I wouldn't. It's hard in this one because they can all sort of probably do it. I've got my 4 clear bowlers.
Yeah.
And then I think once you've got a sort of top 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 can sort of float around a bit. I want to get a couple of Kiwis in there.
This is a New Zealand podcast, of course.
Yeah.
It's hard for me not to take Finn here because I think he's going to open most of the games for us if his form stays all right. And as we've said, that's sort of a pretty important role, and he'll get a lot of opportunities. So, and I think he's the type of guy that's going to absolutely bury one of these minnow sides.
Yeah. Friend of the show.
Yeah, I think we'll see Finn with a 70 off sort of 35 against one of these sort of lesser sides. So I'm saying that I may not take him. I'll go as one of my picks. I'm going to go the other Englishman with a bit of power and just showed a real bit of class against all, and that's David Milan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's actually not a bad pick.
I thought about getting him to bat 3. He's a very good player. He was T20 better in the world for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's got the highest ICC rating ever in terms of like all time. So he's like the Bradman of T20 cricket, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I see him.
Yeah. So that's good value. Good value getting Bradman second last round.
Yeah, great. So, since it's my last pick, there's a few options on the table, but I'm just going to end with an absolute homer pick. I'm going to slot Braces in at 7.
Yeah, I thought you would. You had to get him.
We've got to go one, don't we?
To be fair, he was outstanding in that try series.
With the ball, unbelievable.
Very handy with the ball and probably isn't going to get a lot of bowling in this side, but...
Yeah, you picked 7 spinners, so...
I've picked Matthew and I've picked Braces in my third. Could be very handy. So, yeah, I'm actually very happy to get him 7. There was a party who wants to take a punt on sort of your Stoynes or your Maxi.
Yeah.
Sort of... I mean...
Yeah, I've been having a real look at Stoynes since about round 4.
Yeah. Maxi, it's like, if Maxi had any sort of form behind him...
Like any would be nice.
Just on paper, Maxi's perfect. He just doesn't get the job done.
No, he's not at the moment, and it could burn us for him not to be picked out of 33 players. Like he could easily do something special, but I just think it would be the wrong pick at the moment. You're sort of taking a punt on him, aren't you? And I think there's better players in better form at the moment, so I'll go Braces. Do a bit of a homer pick and get him in the side.
Don't mind it. Don't hate it.
Okay, so speaking of homer picks, I'm pretty stoked that this man has fallen so late, and I feel like I've sort of designed my team for a punt.
Yeah.
At the top, I was thinking about it before. I was like, I've got 5 genuine bowlers. I could really use like another all-rounder just for another sort of 6th bowling option, and then I realised this isn't real. Like we're just picking guys.
I've picked you to bowl, do your job.
Like, come on, man. And like at the end of the day, with this batting lineup, we should be chasing like fucking 700. I'm going to take a flyer. I can't, like, obviously, friend of the show, of course. I'm going for Finn Allen.
Yeah, right.
And I just think this is a perfect lineup. Like, he's going to be opening with Butler. I'm going to have Coley behind him. He's just going to have a license. Anything can happen. If him and Butler got going, fuck me. Holy shit.
Wow.
Anything could happen. And it doesn't matter if he misses because behind him you've got Coley to steer the ship. You've got Pandya, you've got Glenn Phillips, you've got Tim David, you've got Moen Ali, and a bit of Rashid Khan. So I think there's enough batting, and I think it's worth taking a punt.
Yeah.
What I also like about Finn is I think he's going to really rise being around those sort of players. Like I can sort of see Coley and Butler having a bit of yarn, and Finn sort of just jumps in. And what are we talking about, fellas? And I can really see him really just seeing himself at their level and really, really getting a bit of confidence from being around.
Yeah, considering we don't know him at all.
No,
but he does seem like the type where he would walk into this team and see himself as one of them.
Yeah, and that's how we see him.
Yeah.
I'd say we have him just slightly ahead of Coley right now, actually on form.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
100%. Right, so that leaves me with 1 pick. And I currently don't have anyone slated to bat at 3.
How are you seeing them at the moment? You a chance?
Yeah, I could just bump everyone up and I'll bat 11 and bowl a couple just in case, just to be there.
Just get around the boys, just for the circuit.
Yeah, just to get my medal at the end. But I'm going to go someone who's sort of been around a while, and I'm sort of dipping back into South Africa a little bit here.
I like this.
He's opened in their warm-up. Yeah, I've got 2 Saffers here. I could go either way. But I think there's just plenty in Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, good value.
I was between him and Riley Rousseau.
Yeah, he's underrated, actually. He
is underrated, and he hits the ball fucking pretty hard. He did just get 54 off about 30 against us in that warm-up game too. We've been smoked, which nearly made me pick him because, I mean, obviously New Zealand's winning this World Cup in a canter, so He must be a good player. But no, I'll go Quinton de Kock because I think he's got that class, but he also does have that power game. So yeah, I'll go Bubba and Rizwan, then Quinton at 3, and then just basically good luck in the stands. Keep your eyes up because 4 through 7 for me is strictly boundaries.
Fuck, that is a devastating middle order. Fucking hell.
You want to tell us team a bit more, Munter, or are you going to try and give us a chance?
I'll talk him down like when he's not listening.
When you do the socials, our teams will just be normal. Yours will be bold, dark, big caps.
Yeah. I'll just be like, you guys will just be in the corner of the frame, and mine will just take up the whole thing. Oh, very good. So, what's your final? Have you got a betting order, Lugsy, or you want to? Do you want to list your final team?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've got a betting order. Obviously, this will be something we discuss behind the scenes. I've got Warner, Conway, Sharma, Sky, David Milan, Stokesy. Who have we got at 7 there? My handwriting's that poor. Who have I actually got at 7 there? I've got someone at 7.
Bracewell? Or have you said
Bracewell? You've got Bracewell.
How dare I? Yeah. Won't even try and pronounce them. Sorry, the Sri Lankan spinner. Very happy to have him at 8, though.
Yeah, it's interesting you picked him at like your 4th pick and you didn't even know the guy's name. That was
it's not about not knowing the guy's name. It's not trying to be disrespectful and pronouncing it wrong, Matthew.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
And then we got Zamps coming and Hazel with the free Aussie attack at the end there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I reckon Zamp is a huge pickup for you, just quietly.
Quite late, actually.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably the one miss in Jacko's team. I feel like Chahal's good, but he's not a premier spinner.
Yeah, I'll probably be going to the waivers, the waiver wire there, just maybe get like a Santner or even a Sodi.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I feel like they're both, I don't know where we would have taken them, but both very handy, aren't they? Probably we see a lot of them, obviously.
Yeah, I think I went Chahal just based off of I didn't want to pick Santner or like Sodi just because they're like who we see all the time.
Yeah,
and I did want that leggy, but maybe I should have gone Sodi. But yeah, I went Chahal. But yeah, I mean
Adil Rashid.
Yeah, Adil Rashid. Yeah, that was a bit of a miss. It was a panic pick. I needed a spinner and I was on the clock.
It is a learning curve with the panicking, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I was pretty teed up to get Zampa and then you took him, and I was pretty teed up to get like Rashid Khan sort of in the 3rd round, and it got took. And yeah,
it throws you when someone gets your pick.
Yeah. Because you're sort of so set because you think they're great value in your next round, and then they're gone. But I think spinner could be a weakness, but yeah, I mean we're not lacking power and we're not lacking class at the top. So, and I think Bolt, Stark, and Norchi's like a pretty fiery 1-2-3 combo too.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I'm rocking. So my final order is Butler and Allen up top, Coley 3, Phillips 4, Pandya 5, Moen Ali 6. Tim David 7, Rashid Khan 8, and then in my bowling attack, Rabada, Afridi, and Harris Ralph.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Do you want mine in order?
Yeah, go on. Yep.
Yeah, so I've got Bubba and Rizwan at the top, Quinton de Kock at 3, Livingston at 4, David Miller at 5, Matty Wade at 6, Neesham at 7, and then Stark, Chahal, Norchi, and Bolt.
That's sickening. It is sickening, like just that middle order. You could be in trouble if you lose a couple. Like if Rizwan and Bubba fail, which they don't. If you get a couple early, it'd be interesting to see what guys like Livingston and stuff do inside the power play.
Be the same message. Less guys out, so swing harder.
All right, fair enough. You heard it first.
That's probably the only. Yeah, I suppose that's where Bubba and Rizwan, you almost have to play catch up with your power and your order. But if one of them's set, fireworks.
I originally thought you may have taken Wade a bit quickly. I thought you could have got him later, but then that team around him's all sort of came together very well, hasn't it?
I just saw his record the other day, and I looked at the list of finishes, and I was like Like, he might not be as explosive as like your Nishimwe David, but he's just getting the job done, finishing games, and I just thought that was pretty key to get. But
another real chip on his shoulder, Aussie, that you can imagine is going to be in the fight come any situation.
Yeah, especially when I take the gloves off him.
Yeah,
there's actually not a lot of genuine finishers out there. There's a lot of decent middle order players, but that can clear the rope, but not a lot of just genuine finishers that do the job more often than not.
I reckon that the English seamers is going to be interesting. None of them got picked up. Wood could be interesting.
I was looking at Wokes for a bit. Just with the new nut, I think he's pretty handy. I think he took 3 for 4 the other day, and he can obviously hit it down the bottom of the order as well. Yeah, Mark Wood's pretty unlucky. Yeah,
definitely. Bit injury prone though. Bit underdone for this World Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a hell of a player.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken Shaheen Afridi number 2, who's had to go to Crystal Palace to get fit. Yeah. For this thing, but
like maybe the West Indies, maybe like a Poran could have looked quite good in the middle order.
The middle order's quite saturated though. There's just so many of them.
There is, and so many of them aren't wrong picks, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you could probably make a middle order with the guy sitting on the board, and it would still be you'd be happy-ish.
Yeah, 100%. Should we do a quick sort of actual preview of the World Cup?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we'll just make a few predictions on what might happen throughout the World Cup coming up.
Should we go finalists and take a top better?
Yeah, I've got here semis, finals, winner, most runs and most wickets, and then top 3 kits. We'll start actually, Jacko. Do you want to go? Who do you see getting out of the pool stage?
Is there sides to the pool stage, or is it just a round robin?
So it's 2 groups. So basically, it's between Australia.
It's us, Aussie, England, and one, isn't it? And sort of Pakistan, India, and the other,
and South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
can I just nip?
It is a tournament. You can never rule it out, but I just can't see any of the big 4 not making it.
No.
England have just been premier in white ball cricket for so long. Their bowlers may be a little bit of a question mark, but in saying that, as a white ball side, they're just fantastic. So I can't see them not getting out of the pool. Aussie at home also won't miss out. I just don't foresee that happening. So, bit niggly that I don't have us getting out of pool play, but I think those 2 are probably cream of the crop, and then I think India and Pakistan will just get out in terms of they'll be the cream of the crop in that pool. I've actually just sneaky got Pakistan could win this whole thing if everyone's fit, and so I'll go Pakistan Aussie in the final if they don't meet in the semis.
Don't mind that. With Pakistan winning?
Yeah, with Pakistan winning.
I like it. Lugsy, how do you see it?
Yeah, very similar, unfortunately. A part of me, Aussie haven't been that impressive, had they? The last.
Nah, they've only got to beat us though.
I know. Yeah, I'm starting to think they're limping through a wee bit, and maybe at the exact wrong time. So, but I guess it is quite open with us not looking 100% either. I do like the looks of England. It's very open. It's very open, but I'm probably going the same way. Sadly, I think Pakistan again very impressive.
Didn't Aussie limp into the last T20 World Cup as well?
Even worse. They were even worse.
They just there was talk they weren't going to make group stage and stuff, and they just won it pretty easily in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty good at winning the toss and whatnot.
Yeah.
See, I always rate New Zealand's chance in a tournament though.
I just think we're in a tough pool.
We are. Yeah, we are. I mean, okay, my heart's going to go New Zealand, but we'll just leave them out for now. I'll go the same 4, unfortunately, but I'll go an England-Pakistan final, and I'll get England going all the way.
That's exactly how I seen it there, Lugsy. That's my pick. I've got, India, Pakistan getting out, but I wouldn't shock me if South Africa beat India.
Yeah, South Africa.
I do think India has a little bit of some issues with the bowling. Obviously, no Bumrah. I think South Africa's not a bad side. I think they've got a decent. They maybe don't have the depth that India has, but their 11 is almost as good.
So we need.
Yeah, and it depends, So, and in the other pool, look, I don't think New Zealand's a bad team by any stretch. I just think we're in the wrong side for us. I think we'd have a better chance of getting out of the other pool. I think England look the strongest side out of all, just in terms of form. I think, and I've got Pakistan right there as well. I think Pakistan with the consistency of Babar and Rizwan, and their bowling attack is the best. It's not. I don't think it's close.
I think they're the only bowling attack that's fully fit of the big four,
and
outside of Aussie, and I think they're just better than Aussie. But like England missing Archer and Bumrah missing from India, those guys are missing their number one guys, and Pakistan isn't.
Well, that performance against us in that final, and I know we weren't amazing, but those last few overs were just ridiculous. You just don't see that often now. It always seems to be the batting side,
isn't it?
Yeah, every time. So I think if they can get enough runs, they'll be so tough. But I'm gonna go England over Pakistan just because I think their batting just is so overwhelming. I think they've just got so many batters that can strike it. And if Pakistan do get it slightly wrong, then they'll cop it. I think England they have dusted them a couple of times in Pakistan with a weakened lineup. They've already dusted Australia They would have won that third game pretty easily if it didn't get rained out. So I'm going to go England, and then for most runs and wickets, I'm going to go along the lines of that England-Pakistan final. I'm going to go Babar Azam and Haris Ralph as the most runs, most wickets. I'm massive on Haris Ralph at the moment.
Yeah. Most runs, most wickets. I'm going to go similar route to you in terms of those the teams, but I'll go Joss Buttler.
Yeah.
Most runs. Like if England get there, he's going to just score a bucket load. I'll go Buttler at most runs, and then most wickets. Yeah, it's tough because you don't know when they're going to, when is it going to flip and spinners start playing well and seamers and whatnot.
True.
But I was tempted to say like a Zampa. I reckon Zampa could sneaky get up there, especially if Aussie go far in the tournament. But yeah, I think I'll probably go with you as well with the Haris Ralph, just because he bowls quick and he's got the death skills that could sort of get you those extra couple of poles at the end when they're hitting.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to go with you, Jacko, on Joss. As I said at the start, he was going to be my first overall pick, and mainly just because I want the guy who I think's seeing it the best. I want a guy really in form, and I think much like I said with Finn, I think he'll get probably like a big score against someone. Like he'll punish one of these minnows, I think, with a big sort of 80, 90, even a big 100, and that will set him up to be a top run scorer.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if he got like 110 against someone, would it?
Yeah, not at all. And I think it's a bit more open with the bowlers because it's hard to see anyone taking a huge bag that sort of sets them apart. So I'm actually going to go with Trent. Might seem a bit of a homer pick, but I think he'll just chip away with two most games, and by the end of the tournament. It may not go as far if we don't get out of pool play, obviously, is where it's going to count against him. But I'll just see him getting 2 to 3 most games and sort of ending up with 15, which might be enough. Seems pretty in the World Cup.
Don't hate it. That's where my thinking for like a Zampa or a Rashid Khan was like, they'll just bowl 4-5 out through the middle, get some guys holding out once or twice a game, and they might just creep themselves up. But yeah, I like Trent a lot because he swings it with a new ball, so he's always could get one, gets a guy holding out the death.
Yeah, he's always going to sort of chip away invariably, and then come back and sort of get one called on the boundary later doors.
And lastly, boys, what are our thoughts on these World Cup kits? Because they were all looking pretty bloody delightful at the World Cup promos. Let's just round it off with our top 3 kits out of the 16 teams, I think, or whatever it is. Might be more. So I've got here my top 3 in no particular order. Zimbabwe with a wee red and yellow sort of setup, nice wee blended sort of colours.
That's right on the cusp of being disgraceful, though, I reckon.
Yeah, it's walking that line, but I feel like they're on the right side of it.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know. So that might have been a miss, but I'm happy with it. And the next one I've got is UAE. They've got a nice wee. They've got that sort of like purple, and then it sort of fades into. I don't know if it's like black or it's like a darker purple, but it's just sort of nicely faded. I'm a big fan of that one. And lastly, I've got New Zealand. We've talked about it in the past. That lovely, delicious grey. Those are my 3. Boys, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll go New Zealand in there as well. A kit that I've always rated is the West Indies. I don't know what it is, that maroon and yellow. There's just something about the way they play. Their kit always looks good.
It matches how they play, which is fun.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's a fun jersey, and it's like if it's in the pool play, you know that you're getting fun games. That's a good way to put it. And then I tell you what, I'm a big fan. I'm just a big fan of the England red top with the navy pant.
It's crisp, isn't it?
I just think it's crisp. Gets the line in there somehow, and so that'd be my top 3.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of my favourite parts of any sport is their kit. And I just think a long sleeve looks so crispy. So that's I think some of them look really good in these long sleeves. I was actually, full disclosure, I was turning on the New Zealand kit a touch because it was in the Otago Sports Depot, but it was the short sleeve version, and they had paired it with white, and it was it was really
okay.
Oh no, it was really giving me the ick with the old white pants, but I'm seeing Kane rocking it here with the black pants and the long sleeve, and it's looking just delightful.
Yeah, very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, just to shout out a couple of different ones, I really like this Afghanistan kit.
Okay.
A really nice blue number there, and again, just with the long sleeves, it's looking very nice. I was going to shout out the West Indian one again, like Jack. I think that's really nice, but I'll go the Pakistani.
It's always been quite crisp, eh?
Yeah. I think what helps now is them having a genuine rock star like Bubba rocking it.
Yeah.
It just adds a bit to the jersey. So they'll be my top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, like it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Righto, we should probably wrap up for another week. Look, we've got massive plans for this World Cup at TMC. Hoping to bring you guys 2 episodes a week to keep you guys updated with the good, the bad, and most certainly the ugly stuff. And how good would it be to see like Ashwin, Mancat, Butler in the final just for the content? The internet will explode, which is good for us, which is in turn good for you guys, our listeners. Massive thank you to our award-winning listeners, including A1 Mitch Cuthbert, who sent the boys a brand new mic for yours truly, which in turn meant Lugsy has a mic also. So hopefully that improves the audio for all our lovely listeners. Boys, if we had a power rankings of our listeners, fair to say Mitch is number 1 right now, followed by Patreons at patreon.com/matchfromcricket. Then we'll slot in the listeners who take the time to leave a review next, followed closely by the ones that just give us a 5-star rating, which we will appreciate. And last,
Jacob Duffy just sneaks in there at 4.
We'll check. We'll probably all the guests. Yeah, the guests around that. We'll slot them in there somewhere. Friends of the show. Finn Allen sharing the old reel. Happy days.
Probably slot number 1 for me. Actually.
Yeah.
Can't confirm it. He's an actual listener, but as long as he heard that clip, that counts.
Yeah. He's listened to a part of it. I like how he's just seen highlights of himself and gone, I'll chuck that up.
I think also just a shout out, because I obviously wasn't on the episode with Jake Duffy, but that was a tremendous interview and good insight from him. Very very valuable, I thought.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Yes, really was. Great guy. And I guess to wrap up that list, we've got everyone that listens to us. We couldn't do this without you. Massive thanks as always. As I said, we've got a couple of podcasts coming a week. We've potentially got a new sponsor for this World Cup on the horizon, so keep an eye on that announcement soon. And this is all possible because of the listeners. Couldn't do it without you. So, and of course, thank you to Lugsy and Jacko. Have a good week, boys, and we'll catch you after the Caps Australia game.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks again,
Caps,
and vote Team Latham.
The Lugsy 11's looking strong, and get up the Caps, eh?